So before I do these pulls, I was here earlier today looking through this. I was like, oh, well, all the stuff that's here. You know, test run. Well, it's kind of cool, right? And then, oh, it's splashy splash water. It's happy times, great. Oh yeah, it's great. What is that? Why is it so dramatic? I'm scared to do this story mission. I'm gonna be real honest.
Oh, today's our big day. We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mermonia. Come on, we've got to go complete the release procedures now.
Okay, so it's been like 45 days at this point. Okay. Act 5.
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and you two may exit the Fortress of Mermonia via the regular channels.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's hurry up and... Huh?
Oh.
What's happening? I wonder what that tremor was just now.
Let's go ask the Duke.
Ah, good to see you two. Is there something you wish to see me about?
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface.
How do you know
Over
that?
the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater.
Yeah, never mind.
Besides, the seal that Monsieur Neuvillette set in place won't fail so easily.
Okay, seems we need to get back up to the surface and ask about what happened. It's you two. Are you leaving now? That's right! Today is our last day in prison. You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure. Let's go.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries, you must be busy. Paimon was just joking.
Ah, so you do have a polite side, I see.
Ouch.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Shall I come along too?
No, that's all right. What?
Since Neuvillette was the one who asked us to come here, we should probably go report to him now. Next up, the Palais Mermonia. You're going to see Monsieur Neuvillette? Please pass on our kind regards.
Okay, well that transition could have been better.
Neuvillette!
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment, as there are some urgent matters I must tend to first. A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Teyvat. Therefore, we can only assume that Childe is presently immersed in primordial seawater.
What was our earlier tremor we felt?
Oh, right!
Didn't read that
Paimon
right.
felt it too! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about it.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what I was busy with a moment ago. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose? Oh no! What about all the people there?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time and have already returned to normal now. However, I still have a bad feeling about the whole phenomenon. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than it appears.
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we came as quickly as we could!
Yes. As you can see, the water levels suddenly rose. It caused quite the disturbance, in fact. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways.
Why does it sound weird?
Before we knew it, water started pouring out from everywhere. The rushing water seemed a little odd, almost
What?
like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't realize the danger and thought it was
Why
just
that sound
ordinary
weird?
All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the residents. We still haven't completed the head count, but we'll have some numbers soon.
How awful. And all of this just came out of nowhere.
Wait, we're missing some people, aren't we?
Traveler, Paimon, would you two accompany me to my father's grave for a moment?
Navia?
There's no need to push yourself so hard.
Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry, I just... Malus and Silver, they won't ever come back here again. What should I do, Papa?
Huh? What happened to them?
They were helping evacuate the residents, but they couldn't leave in time. And they were caught in the seawater. By the way, you can have a look at this. It's a list of victims from the incident that took place here.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, Francine, Karina, Daisy Ray, Joinville, Julianne, Esson, as well as Malus and Silver. So, everyone else is safe. But still...
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
Oh,
The knave? What are you doing here?
Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work so quickly.
Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Meripede sluice gate, and this time it was the water levels in Poisson. These are both signals. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to ancient times, and seem to be worth investigating in many ways. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming more urgent, so any pertinent information will prove extremely precious. Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task.
This place has also been contaminated by primordial seawater.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontainian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell in.
oh boy.
Oh, really?
Can't go in the water? Nope, can't go in the water. Okay. We're getting a cutscene right here? Oh, she's dead. How are we gonna save her?
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly excited about something. I even know some of these people. Karina, Desiree, Joyville,
These are the people who died.
Julian, Essen. Why are so many people here? And why do I have no recollection of this case? And as for the judge... huh? Where's Monsieur Neuvillette?
Have you not yet realized what you've done? In that case, allow me to
She might be
explain.
blaming herself for all their deaths.
As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor. the head of the Spina di Rasula, someone held in high regard by every soul in Poisson. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. If anyone in need reached out to you for help, you responded.
Wait a moment. Aren't you just proving that I'm a good person?
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people get through so many difficulties. You are one with us. We are inseparable. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us forever.
I don't like that.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
Ugh, my head... it hurts.
Demoiselle.
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. All I can see is stars swirling in front of me.
Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us.
Was that an ocean?
After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
No more excuses!
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
Silence!
That's...
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party. Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now!
Goodbye, Demoiselle.
Farewell.
You're awake? Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they were defending me at some insane trial.
It looks like you're all right. The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I...
What is it?
I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The prophecy.
Stone Slates. It seems like they were put here as an offering. Could we take them down and have a look? There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is missing.
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future here in its past. Say what?
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the second slate, for example.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing this... what is this? Some kind of island in the sky?
Possibly celestial?
Is that Lady Furina in the 3rd image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water? The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it, most likely due to us missing the first slate. I am very sorry.
The second image is also quite concerning. What sin are the people in the images confessing to?
If we go by timing, Lady Furina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Could this place be the origin of the prophecy? Does that mean that someone, or some people, once saw these slates?
They're still the cookies from the cookie jar? The original sin, yeah.
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Furina.
I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you.
Bro, you're in the sewers. What do you mean a stroll? Oh.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us.
It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand.
You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this.
This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that.
There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 featured different images that seemed to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
Do you know nothing of this either?
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Oh my god.
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all!
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here!
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all.
Who are you? What do you want with us?
Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
Allow me to ask you, will Fontaine's prophecy come true?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
Can there really be no exceptions?
Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
That's Furina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Furina.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were, disturbing my enjoyment of the arts? They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found.
There she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Oh, no.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
This place is not what I'd call soundproof. You might want to lower your voice, stay hidden.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
I'm running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. Furina, you must not shoulder this burden alone. I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. To share with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case...
There's no time left. Please, Furina, spit it out. Is this not a cutscene? What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalors, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Uh-oh.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
Shut up,
I
Paimon.
raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalors, will now begin! Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history. My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome? Then, I can guess Neuvillette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We'd hoped that you'd share your secret with us when the magic box arrived into the stage.
Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Charge accepted. Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalors, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Childe to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created.
We can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Furina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as the Archon?
My power as an Archon? There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse.
That feels kind of dangerous.
Oh,
I don't think we should be touching this water. That's a bowl, bro. That's a bowl of water.
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Hey!
Actually.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur,
okay,
we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
They're not believing her.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway me. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty.
Whoa.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Can't be. Did the Oratrice declare Furina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, The exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
Whoa.
The death sentence?
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Is that the first prophecy slate?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power and turning Oceanids into human beings.
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Fontainians are not real humans. Oh.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
The crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of the Fontainians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Wait, could it be? Oh my god, what's happening now? Oh. In the middle of the... Oh my god. Okay, the music kind of popping off right now. Huh? Oh, there that boy is. There you go. Dude, it's like its music turned into like 11. This is so nice. That's right. I'd wager it's also the same one that Childe saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontainians.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it still turned out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Wait. But if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even if the prophecy is fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Furina. What was that she wanted to say to me at that last moment in the giant magic box? What is her real secret?
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
Can you jump that high? What was that?
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time. Furina. Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me? What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role, that of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Furina de Fontaine, your new Archon.
appear earnest.
In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalors, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice.
Close politely.
Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay, and next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me...
I see, this is why she is the way she is now.
She might just be a Maison-back puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Furina. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate.
How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's Gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
Hey, what? What's up? What'd you say?
Your pardon?
What's happening?
My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be, accumulated to enact this death sentence. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the oratories. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina nor Focalors, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontainians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalors. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Interesting. So is he now the Archon? Thank you, Furina, for all you've done. From this moment on, please live happily as a human, just as I wish we could. Oh,
I, Eudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring Narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
what's happening now? This thing is huge. What? I'm sorry, what's...
I will have order.
What is happening? Oh, you can lower the difficulty. Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. Hello? Who are you?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Who are you?
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Childe's master. Skirk, right? So what sort of person is your master? Well, Childe's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
Who? I wasn't reading that. God damn it. I just naturally responded with who. I wasn't reading that.
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Foul?
The Foul?
Is he a Fatui member?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
Wait.
Better Fulnir then? Or Gold Rhine-Daughter?
Oh my god.
We've heard Rhine-Daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-Daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection. Remind that. I believe it expedient to inform you. that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
Not to worry. Focalors has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
What about the other ship? Yeah, that one.
All hands initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand! Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright? We're safe.
The prophecy was wrong.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too. Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's alright. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Furina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's Gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
I'm sorry, what?
A diplomatic gift? A Gnosis?
No. Oh my god, they have another
Yes,
one.
I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it.
So
I suspect you'll have to ask
Don't
him about
understand.
that yourself.
Gets all of his full power as a dragon back.
I did see him strolling
And he
around the
just
entrance
gives
to the
up a
Fortress
piece of
of
it to
Narragansett a
her.
while back.
Why?
But back to the topic. The Gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Childe?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
We still have his vision. Hello?
Father.
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as Harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
Actually, I just remembered something. Please help us deliver this.
A vision?
Oh, well, there's.
All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
Well, now I feel bad for freaking out.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalors' words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the Knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power.
You don't?
As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine.
I thought it was part of your
have
power.
impure designs, and we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the Knave and as an apology to Childe.
I'm so confused.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
I'm so confused. No, wait, no, come, go back. Wait, I thought. Okay, so it's explained before that the people of Celestia, the divine heavenly principles, blah blah blah, took the Gnosis from the dragons. It's their power, so he took it from them and gave it to the Archon. All right, so he finally gets it back, gets his full power back. He is his full dragon self, and he's like, "Nah, you got it. You got it. No, it's yours. Why are we giving it up?"
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
Fireplace. I want to go there.
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land.
I'm excited for that place.
As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Ooh.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there.
Oh.
Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war.
Oh.
War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Oh my god, yes!
Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Oh, we're actually gonna get a scene?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third Descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
What's happening?
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a Gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalors' divinity faded, she handed her Gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
That's why he gave it up.
This third Descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then?
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third Descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
Alright, well that makes a lot more sense to me now. The Descender. She mentioned one of them. I'm the fourth Descender. For me, this information means two things. One, that Gnosis are related to Descenders. And two, the one who came before me has already died.
I guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third Descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third Descender and all.
So, I have a theory. Third Descender is the sibling. They think he's dead because he's in the abyss.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
Yes. All of Focalors' efforts were for this moment as well.